Mark Ham.
Here.
Glenn Lewis.
Here. Would you please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we'll receive a donation from Oklahoma City Handbucks Club.
Mayor, Orly Beeler is here representing the Oklahoma City Handbucks Club. Just to refresh your memory, we have been working with them for a good while now as far as planning for and beginning the design process for an accessible playground that will be built somewhere in the vicinity of the new Central Park, in the new Central Park. And I believe there's a spot that's been kind of carved out down there for it. Handbucks has been real good working with us and kind of brought that idea to us. It's been a year or two ago, hadn't it, Orly? A couple
Been a
of
while.
years. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. I'm just going to take just a little bit and give a little bit of history of where we've been with this. The idea of a 100% accessible playground came actually from out of one of the Leadership More classes. I don't remember exactly which year it was, the 08 or
Several
09,
years ago,
somewhere in
yeah.
there. And they thought that as a leadership class project would be good to have a playground for all that could be used by all children, and that included those that were physically disabled. There normally has not been and had not been playgrounds that were accessible to kids that were in wheelchairs or crutches or any kind of problem, and where they required some kind of mechanical way to get around. They started out trying to get donations, and they found out that since they did not have a 501c3 designation, that they could not tell people that money that they received was tax exempt. So they came to us and asked us if we would take them under our umbrella, and we said we would. Shortly after that, they asked us to help them with the fundraising effort. And we began a very concentrated nationwide effort in seeking funds, donations. And we had some positive results, but frankly, it was coming a little slow. And about that time, we were wondering, how long is it going to take us to get this money that we're going to need for this playground? And about that time, the citizens of Moore voted a bond issue to build a Central Park, which couldn't have happened at a better time, really. We had the input from a couple of the council members, David Roberts being one, and Robert Knowles, and we began discussing between them and the city manager's staff about possibly the city building this park. We found that there is over 8,000 children in South Oklahoma City and Cleveland County that are physically disabled that can use this park. And the other thing was that we have found where there are playgrounds that are fully accessible, people bring their children from many miles at times just so that they have a playground that they can use. They found that through up in Enid, they found that true up in Ponca City and other communities. So, but when it was decided that the city was going to take on the responsibility for the playground, a number of our donors said, well, if the city's going to take care of it, send our money back. And so we did. But as far as we were concerned, that is Oklahoma City Ambux, we had said that we were going to make a donation to this playground one way or another, didn't matter. And so I'm here this evening to make a $10,000 donation to this park, which, by the way, has been named by a group of citizens, Every Child's Playground is going to be the name of it. And as I said, the school district here in Moore and the school district down in Norman, as well as many of the smaller school districts in Cleveland County, have been very helpful in getting information to us as to how many children would be directly affected by that could use this playground. So with no further ado, I should say, we have a check for $10,000, and we're asking that $10,000 go towards the cost of signage for the park, because we know that's going to be an expensive item, and we would like to see it go for that purpose.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Orla.
Talk to you later.
Okay. Item number 2 is the consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held February 2nd, 2015. Item B, approve resolution number 80914, authorizing the execution and submittal of previously approved consolidated annual performance and evaluation report, CAPER, to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Item C is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2014-2015 in the amount of $2,585,800.66.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion. With any other discussion on this item? Would you go ahead and call for the vote, please?
Robert Kraus?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt? Yes. Terry Kavner?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes.
Glenn Lewis?
Yes, item carries. Item number 3 is consider an appointment to the Planning Commission to fill an unexpired term. And tonight, we have several applications. And if I get your name wrong, I apologize. Jose Chavez, is he here? I don't know if that's the correct name. Chavez is the last name. Okay. Rose Morgan. Chris Rickman.
For those of you that are here, if you don't mind just coming up and just making a short statement to the council, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Again, my name is Chris Rickman. I've been a resident of Ward 2 for almost 17 years. As my boys have gotten older, I've tried to figure out a way that I can get involved more in the community. I think the Planning Commission is a perfect fit for that. I've worked for a local structural engineering company for over 20 years. So my knowledge and experience in the architectural engineering and construction industry, I think, will bring a unique perspective to the Planning Commission. Being able to understand the building plans and construction procedures, I think might be able to give some insight on maybe what developers are doing after they apply for their zoning request. I just feel that I've got a unique background that I can provide and bring to the Planning Commission. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Christopher Ryan. We used to have to go out and beg people to come up and and take one of these jobs. So we're quite excited. We got like 15, because this is great.
That's awesome. All right. Members of City Council, it's an honor to introduce myself to you for consideration as a member of the Moore Planning Commission. Hi, I'm Chris Ryan, and I have a deep-seated desire to serve the public. I cannot envision a better opportunity to fulfill this desire to serve than by participating as a member of the Moore Planning Commission in Moore's transformation from a sleepy town to an engaging, amenity-driven, high quality of life metropolitan city. I am a CPA who makes a living interpreting legal code, regulations, and court cases for Chesapeake Energy Corp., but who also enjoys and spends a considerable amount of time performing thought experiments in regards to city planning, commercial, residential, industrial, and public space development. You might wonder from my previous statement, what do I mean by high quality of life? I mean the quality of actual health and sense of well-being and community present in Moore's population. I'm a proponent of the tenets of new urbanism. New urbanism provides that a community should be environmentally sustainable, implementing technology and strategies for increased infrastructure efficiency while preserving the heritage of the community and creating areas for social access. A community should also seek to integrate itself regionally and as a community by using transit-oriented and human-scale design. Of course, in all of this is to be accomplished while maintaining institutional integrity. Developing at the human scale, meaning the development of mixed-use, walkable urban centers as opposed to homogeneous commercial or residential city blocks, is a particular passion of mine. I like the City of Moore heavily invest in city planning, and I'm especially excited by the city's park initiative and the planning opportunities present in the redevelopment and transformation of Southwest 17th and Janeway. It is my sincere hope that I have adequately displayed to you the knowledge base and passion I wish to employ in public service as a member of the Moore Planning Commission. I look forward to working with the other members of the Commission, City Council, the Planning Division, the business community, and the public to further advance Moore's status as a great community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask a question? Chris, you know what ward you're in?
Say again?
You know what ward you live in?
I'm in Ward 2.
Chris, what ward are you?
Ward 2.
Okay.
Thanks for asking that.
When the call went out, did it not go out saying that they were asked to be from Ward 2? When I saw it on Facebook and all that, that was, I mean, I know that
Right.
normally they're not split out by wards, but I thought that
Well,
that was.
there is no,
Right.
nothing in code that says that they have to be from particular wards. We try to keep them equal.
Okay.
And so this would be a slot to fill Ward 2 if you were to keep them equal.
Okay.
Well, one of my next questions, and we've tried to do that in the past. I know, how are we as far as being split up?
Actually, we are really, equal on all the wards.
And it's a
so
Ward 2 spot where.
It's really the Ward 2 spot if you guys want to keep it equal,
Right.
equal representation.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Justin Wilson? Okay, Kim Jordan?
I just have an interest in growth and development. I've lived in Moore for probably 20-plus years and just very excited about the growth and development that's been going on over the last several years. And I offer a background. I've worked for a development company, previous experience for 16 years working with planning and budgeting and engineering design, infrastructure, construction of neighborhood amenities, structures, and ultimately homes. I have an understanding working with PUDs, plats, covenants, conditions, restrictions, city regulations, a lot of that types of stuff. The development company that I worked for was Glardy Development Company, and I currently still sit on their planning, their architectural review committee. So I just feel like I have a good understanding of that type of stuff and would like consideration.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Do you know what ward you live in?
Ward 2.
Okay.
Marty Thompson. Let's see, John Price. I don't know if I got that name right. Okay, Andrea Merton. How about James Houston? Brian Graham. Do I have the right list? Okay, Chad Burks. Jack Joyner. Larry King. Is it Bradley Burtone? Tara Bonnell? All right, bingo.
My name's Tara Bonnell. I live in Ward 2. I've lived in Moore for about 8 years, and I'm seeking a position on the Planning Commission simply because I want to be involved in the betterment and development of the city I live in and the city I choose to raise my child in. I first became interested in the Planning Commission a few years ago when there was an application to rezone property that was directly adjacent to my neighborhood. And at that time, my husband and I felt pretty strongly about the fact that we did not want that land to be rezoned in the way that it was being applied for. As I'm not currently involved in zoning or development or building, but I have skills that are directly transferable to the ability to investigate, collect data, listen to people, and make recommendations. And I've acquired those skills in my position as an enforcement attorney for the Oklahoma Department of Securities. We're a state agency that regulates the offer and sale of securities in Oklahoma, similar to the Securities Exchange Commission, except we're the state equivalent. And in that position, my job is to investigate potential violations, interview people, obtain large amounts of data, review it, formulate a recommendation, communicate the recommendation, defend the recommendation, and then if it's accepted, to implement it through a civil or administrative proceeding. And so I'm familiar with also the administrative process. And because of those duties, I'm able to collect, review data, and formulate recommendations. And I would have that to offer the commission. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else that has signed up for this that hasn't spoken? Would you like to speak?
This is for Ward 2, right? Right. Yes. My name's Justin Wilson. I know you've heard a lot here today. I'll be very brief, but my background is in commercial real estate. I'm a commercial real estate broker downtown with Newmark Grubb, Levy Strange Bedford. I've been fortunate enough to have some success there and be involved in about $230 million in commercial real estate transactions, including the development side. I actually grew up playing SimCity on Nintendo. I always had a dream to make a city better, to be a part of the growth, to be involved in that process. My whole job entails bringing people together in a way that is a win-win for everyone involved. I think my background lends to be able to do this position in a way that's beneficial for everyone, for the city, for the citizens, and in a way that can see long-term growth that's the most beneficial for more. So that's really all I have to say. I'd love to have an opportunity to be a part of that growth, to be a part of the process that's made more what it is today, and see more continue down that road. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Stephen Stan and I invented the SimCity version of Tornado Rebuild.
I just wish I could see some royalties
I
from
know.
it.
Yeah, really.
Haven't got any yet. Okay, and we're going to make our decision and have it at the next council meeting, correct? That's what you and I had talked about, Steve?
That's-
Is that,
I think
I'm
that's
good with that.
a good process.
That sounds good.
okay? And I appreciate everyone who filled out. Like I said, we had to go out and twist arms in the past to get people to do these positions, and we have such an outstanding group. It makes it really difficult to pick from. So thank you very much for your participation in this.
I would just echo what the mayor said, when we make positions are available, it's wonderful to have an abundance of applicants. People are interested in what will serve their city in some way. So thank you guys for filling us out, for taking a little bit every day to come down here and speak with us. Just to say it all again, but I assure you, we would be pleased to have any one of you sit on the planning commission. I'm very impressed with that. Thank you.
All right. Item number 4 is consider awarding bid number 1415005, mowing and nuisance abatement to Property Image Solutions. It's on page 9 of your package.
Mayor and council, we try to go out for a bid for this service every year or so, just to make sure that we're getting the best prices available. We did open bids on Wednesday, January 28th. On page 91 of your agenda packet, you have a table of all of the respondents to that. Property Image Solutions out of Norman, Oklahoma was the low bid. They have been our contractor in the past, and they desire to keep this job. So staff would recommend approval of the contract with Property Image Solutions. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Does that have to be bid out every year?
Yes.
It does?
It does. We were a bit tardy this year because of tornado.
It was 2 years ago.
Yeah. But yes, ideally it would be every year.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
All right, thank you. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? Not, would you call for the vote?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Robert Kraus.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 5 is consider approval of a permit for Dawson Geophysical authorizing the performance of a geophysical seismic testing on city right-of-way properties.
Mayor, after we put the agenda together, had been talking to this group of folks. After we put the agenda together, they had thought they would be able to make this meeting, but they later advised us that they had some logistical problems. There'd be some people coming in from out of town, and so they've asked for you to table it to the next council meeting to consider this. I'll be here to make a proposal on this as to what this involved, but it's oil and gas related testing, and they'll be able to describe it to you in detail, but we're asking that you table it to the next meeting.
Okay. Do we have a table
Make a
motion?
motion to table this item.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion to table. Would you call for the vote, please?
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Robert Kraus.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item is tabled for the next meeting. Item number 6 is consider authorizing staff to solicit requests for proposals for ambulance service within the city limits.
Mayor and council, we've been having a considerable amount of discussion internally about this. As you know, Midwest Ambulance Service provides our ambulance service now and has for a number of years. We've had some concerns over time with regard to their performance. Also, there's several ambulance providers that have reached out to us wanting to know if and when we would ever look at renewing a contract or going out for a contract that they would be interested. Some of you that are on the council a while remember we went through the RFP process for ambulance service I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago, 6, 8 years ago, whatever that was. 8 years ago, 10, I don't know, some time ago. That's the last time we did that. So I think that now we're recommending that we go ahead and go out for RFPs. Anybody that's interested in providing our ambulance service could respond, and then we'll have a committee put together to listen to the proposals and look at their proposals to provide the service to our community, and then the council would make a decision at a later date.
How many providers do you think there are?
There's 4 to 5 that I know of right now. There may be some more. There's 1 or 2 that are relatively new out there, and then several that we all know. So I think there would be probably 4 or 5 or 6, possibly even companies that would submit a proposal.
So would this be one of the deals where you kind of do like we're doing now, where we'd ask them to state or house a couple of ambulances in the city limits?
When we put out the RFP, it'll have specific requirements in it, one of which it would be a minimum of 2, and possibly even have a 3rd staged, either inside the city limits or very close to the city limits. There was another issue that we had before that came up in the RFP process with regard to dispatching, and we would require, I think, that the ambulance service be able to provide dispatching services for the service. There were some issues with regard to transporting people where they would want to go unless there's an emergency situation. And these would all be addressed in the RFP that they would have to comply. And right now, we don't pay anything for our ambulance service. So that would be, I think, something that we would want to try to see continue if that's possible.
They bill the end user, right? Is that how?
Yes.
That's how it's working, right? That's what I
And obviously, we need to be, and you all will need to be cognizant of that in terms of what the costs are from these different providers, because we will ask them to submit what it is that their rates are, the charges are out there to the customer.
And once again, they'll be very interested in this because we have one of the highest households with insurance in the state. The number of households that carry health insurance that pay for ambulance services. So that's why they're interested, or they will be.
Is that, Steve, is that, or Mr. Hughes, is that how most cities do it, to where the ambulance services are paid by the city, you know?
It's very different depending on the city. IMSA service with Oklahoma City and Tulsa IMSA provides service to Tulsa. Oklahoma City has to pay a lot of money, and there's actually a charge on citizens' bills in Oklahoma City to help pay for their ambulance service. So that ambulance service costs the city a lot of money. Other cities have it where there's an ambulance service that's funded through property taxes, maybe a county ambulance service, that sort of thing. We've been very fortunate in the situation that we're in the metro area that we've had a service that we didn't have to pay for, that provided excellent service to our citizens. And that obviously is our goal, is to provide excellent service to our citizens. And some of the issues that we've been having now is basically that we've not had what we think is proper response, and then there have to be other ambulance providers coming into town to provide service, which is okay, but it's not the idea. It's not what we want to see.
And I would just, as you guys try to RFP, and I'm confident that y'all will cover all the bases, it would just make sure that the people staffing the ambulances have good training. You know, if they could both be a paramedic, it would be good. I understand, I assume that the level, I haven't needed an ambulance, but if I ever do, I'll walk on there real quick, I want them to know what they're doing. So the highest level of training that these different ambulance services will provide would be.
And that'll be one of the things that we'll be looking at. Again, the issue that we had before, when we went through this before, was one of the providers only hired paramedics, and others would have one paramedic and one EMT perhaps on an ambulance.
Okay.
So be aware, you guys, the two new ones, it got nasty last time, and they got personal, so.
We don't expect
Terry
that to
and Robert and I
happen
can
this
tell you,
time.
it was not a nice thing to go through, so.
Will you guys put in the RFP if they can have their response time, is there a accepted
Chief.
response time for an ambulance, or what is it now? What are they doing now?
Gary?
Does the fire department y'all usually beat the ambulance there, or is it?
Because we're more local, ours in 4 different places in the city, and it depends on where their ambulance is coming from to what their response time is. If they are here in town, it's a very good response time, but if they're having to come in from Midwest City or some other outlying area, and then there's times that they can't respond and they have to have another ambulance respond for them.
As far as the ideal response time that we would want to see,
We need to be on the scene. We're always there, usually within 6 minutes on an average, or actually our response time is 4:55 right now on average for the fire department on every run. So theirs is probably around 8 minutes, somewhere in the neighborhood. I don't know if that's in the RFPs for last time or not. I've been busy going through all those. I don't know if that was actually spelled out in there last time or not, but I'm currently reading through all that right now.
that's something that also will, and we'll send it out for you all to look at before we send it out, because we want to make sure that any issue that you can think of, or that you've had a discussion with a citizen out in the world with regard to ambulance service. Most of the calls that we get don't really get much of any calls, but we get calls occasionally on pricing, but we obviously don't control that. But
All right. Okay, do we have a motion to put this out for RFPs?
Make a motion to put this item out on the RFP.
All right,
Second.
Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? Anybody? No, would you call for the vote?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Robert Kraus.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we'll recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item number 7 is the consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held February 2nd, 2015. Item B, approve, ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2014-2015 in the amount of $574,877.18.
Move to approve.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Everybody get their claims questions answered, or expenditures? Any extra changes to the minute? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Robert Kraus.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we will recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item 8 is the consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Risk Management meeting held February 2nd, 2015. Item B is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2013-2014 in the amount of $168,440.63.
Mayor, just as a correction, I'm certain
Yeah.
it should say 14, 15.
Yeah. It's 2014-2015.
Make a motion to approve with the change.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? No, would you call for the vote?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Robert Kraus.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we will recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and convene the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting.
Item 9 is the roll call. Call roll, please.
Robert Kraus.
Present.
Jason Blair. Melissa Hunt.
Here.
Glenn Lewis.
Here.
David Roberts. Mark Ham.
Here.
Terry Kavner.
Here. Item 10 is the consent docket. Item A is to receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Economic Development Authority meeting held January 20th, 2015. Make a motion to do that.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Would you call the roll, please?
Robert Kraus.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes. Item passes. At this time, we will recess the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting and reconvene the city council.
All right, thank you. Item number 11, let the record reflect that all the members that were present before are still present. Item A is citizens forum for items not on the agenda. There's no one signed up to speak. Would anyone like to? Item B is items from the city council or trustees.
I'd just like to point out that the tennis team from Moore High School gave us all a thank you note with a picture to say thank you for the new tennis courts at Buck Thomas Park. So it's really making an impact on our community, the work that's been done over there.
Yeah, if you haven't seen those are terrific, very nice improvement. They're blue. Blue.
Mr. Eady, or probably maybe you taught, the chess coach was asking me if we knew when the bathrooms would be finished out in that area. Do you know, Mr. Jensen?
Probably should be in about a month.
Okay.
Their crews are really concentrated on the girls softball right now, so probably next month.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, anybody else? What? Okay. All right, item C is items from the city manager.
I'm good as well. So.
Okay, item 12 is adjournment.
So moved.
So those trash trucks, those new trucks up there?
Yeah, those look nice.
Did we get the new trucks, Richard?
Or they'll just drive them to work?
The new trucks are
Just
out
driving
there?
those around town?
I didn't know they were here.
That's our new trash trucks, and we'll be taking 2 trucks off the line, those 2 new ones, so we'll have a lot.
And
Those
there's
are CNG?
CNG trucks.
Yes, those CNG trucks.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Let's go.
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, we're adjourned. Thank you for coming.